Greetings, this is September 1st at 6 p.m. and we are looking at a lot of 24-hour infrared. And when you're in an active wildfire area, this can be a positive sign. We're going to zoom into an image of the Elephant Hill wildfire as seen on the NRC data at 1:40 p.m. today, and it's showing where the concentration of new hotspots are in the last 12 hours, and that's specifically between Watch Lake and Sheridan Lake, and the area that's going, it looks like it wants to come back south towards the North Bonaparte Road, and it's extending as far north as Jack Frost Lake. But here, looking at the 6-hour map, no new infrared. So the fire is currently smoldering away. There's lots of smoke in the area, and we can see that smoke on firesmoke.ca, this image updated from today, and everything is looking at tomorrow, Saturday, for an increase in the winds. I'm going to take a look at the 4 p.m. Google KML data that's linked below. We're using the VWIRS system at 350 meter calibration. But before I do that, I want to look at Canham Lake and just south of it. Approximately 2 kilometers south, just north of this pond called Dorrit Lake, and about 3 kilometers north of Drury Lake, there has been a couple of hotspots that have flared up yesterday, and they have increased, and now we've got some 24-hour, 12-hour, and new 6-hour data showing up. So if you're in that region, you should be aware if you haven't already been notified. Now we're going to take a look at the overview of the Elephant Hill wildfire as it stands of 4 o'clock p.m. displayed on infrared. And as you can see, lots of yellow, lots of active areas. And if we zoom in, we're seeing a lot of new infrared within the existing fire perimeter. That's that random red hotspots. And I am seeing some on the southeast fringes of these fire pockets. I'm going to suggest that this northwest breeze that's been blowing in has caused a lot of those on the opposite side of the fire flanks. I'm seeing no perceivable expansion of the fire at this time. I was concerned about the area north of Pressy Lake coming down the southern slopes of Mount Jim, but that appears to be holding. I only see one new infrared at the top of Mount Jim, and the rest of the area around Hutchison, Pressy, Watch Lake, and Sheridan seem to be holding. Green Lake as well. If you look at the lower right portion of your screen, I am seeing a few red infrared showing up about 2 kilometers west of the Rayfield River. Moving further southwards, we're looking around Young Lake at the top right-hand portion of your screen. No new infrared there. We still have that long-term activity to the south of Young Lake and that other patch to the north of Young Lake. There's probably fair density in there, some older forestation. And I've been communicating with our viewer Paul, who's very familiar with the area and knows the forestation, and he explained that around Hyheum, which we're looking at now, there's a lot of old growth timber. There's been a lot of activity in regrowth, cutting. There could be cut blocks with slash in there that's caught and burned, and it's just so dense. And he explained how they would do heat mapping with infrared in the fall to determine where hotspots were in slash burns, and then come back in the spring after the snow to revisit areas that may still be smoldering. There was also news that Fort McMurray's fire was officially declared over and out yesterday, and that's over a year. Let's jump over to Drive BC's Sheridan Cam on Highway 24. We're looking west to 93 Mile and Lone Butte. I am seeing some haze. I also see a bit of blue sky poking through, and here at the Begbie Highway Cam we can see it. However, in the north, over 100 Mile House, I am seeing some haze rolling in from the Hansville Risky Creek fires. We are jumping over to Windy, and I'm seeing 6 kilometers an hour coming south-southeast, and this is quite variable, going around valleys and over ridgelines, and then we see it pick up speed on the plateaus. We're looking at the area right around Young Lake, and here on a second computer model, I'm seeing 3 kilometers an hour and quite variable. It could be coming almost from any direction, primarily from the northwest. We can see that 6 kilometers coming from the northwest over towards Bridge Lake, Sheridan Lake, and looking at the forecast, we can see this impending high velocity wind to show up tomorrow approximately noon and go up to 15-16 kilometers an hour, gusting to 45 potentially, but it will depend on where you are. And it looks like a repeat for Sunday, only coming from the opposite direction, from the northwest. So how far can the fire grow? It's all speculative, and it depends on how much fuel is available and how persistent these winds are. Pulling back and looking at the area again on the wind model, 6 kilometers an hour coming west-northwest, just south of Sheridan Lake. And here we see the higher elevations are showing more of that dense green or the higher velocities. So in the valleys, maybe the wind will be a little bit slower. What you want to do is check the BC wildfire alerts and bulletins, and for the Caribou Regional District, in case they anticipate expansion farther north. And I'm not going to speculate on here how far that fire could go, but we've seen it go 7 kilometers in an evening. So this fire has a tendency to slumber and then leap. It feeds, it dies down as it gets smothered with its own smoke, and then the wind picks up a couple days later and it moves forward again. So we have to give our wildfire crews as much encouragement and as much help and assistance in their endeavor as possible. Before I close this update, I just wanted you to know about this website, Canada's Log People, and they have British Columbia forest facts on the age of trees. And there's some interesting statistics there, the size of protected areas, what the forestation encompasses, and how many millions of hectares there are. And they have a bear for a picture, so that's pretty cool. So everyone north and east of this fire perimeter, please verify your position, know your escape routes, have all your resources planned ahead of time, and just be very safe. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you all for your very kind words and your encouragement and all your comments. I really appreciate it. Let's go forward.